everyone.
Good afternoon and welcome to Barging Free. If you tuned into my last vlog, you'll know that we got seriously grounded on the Stort here.
Indeed.
But we did sort that fairly easily. I heaved with my feet and pushed off the bank.
Very manly.
And there we were. Within a few minutes, we were floating back on the canal.
Yay!
So listen, so last week we talked about facing your finances, getting real, really knowing what your expenditure is every month. And this is in preparation for thinking about moving on to a narrowboat. And so what we thought we'd do this week is actually go through pretty carefully, as best we can, what the expenses are. And the first thing to ask yourself are, if you're thinking about moving onto a narrowboat, is do you see yourself as being permanently moored, or in other words having a residential mooring, or do you see yourself as a constant cruiser like us? So here we are. We're, just show people, look, here we are. We're on the beautiful Stort. Yes, the whole of Essex at the moment is our garden. It's beautiful.
So this is the biggest question really when you're talking about your finances. Are you going to constant cruise or are you going to moor? If you are going to moor, that is going to be your biggest cost. Absolutely going to be your biggest cost. Outside of London, mooring starts roughly for this size of boat 70 foot at around 300 and goes up depending on what facilities per month.
Yeah.
Depending on what facilities the mooring offers. Some have water, electricity, etc. Some don't. Or if you are crazy enough to try and get mooring in London, that starts at about 800 going up to infinity really, but certainly 1500 a month. So chunk of change.
That's right. You could be £15,000 or more to moor up in central London. So then you're back to square one, because the money you thought you were going to save, you suddenly discover you're spending the same, if not more. So we recommend, if you are really wanting to save money, that you be constant cruisers like us. But this comes at a certain cost.
A different kind of price, indeed.
Yeah, it is. Now, we can cruise the canals of England free of charge. All we pay is an annual license. We'll run through that with you in just a moment. But we have to move every 2 weeks. Okay.
So you could say, in some ways, to be a constant cruiser is kind of a job in itself. Not a full-time job, but it's definitely a part-time job. So although you would be saving on your mooring fees, you will need the kind of lifestyle or job which would allow you to do that. So really think about that. That's biggest question. Constant cruiser or moorer. If you're outside of London, less of a big deal perhaps, if you can find somewhere for around 300.
Yeah.
So the next big cost, well, you mentioned briefly, is your license.
Yeah, let's just run through the costs now then. So we're a 70-foot boat. The Canal and River Trust, who manage the waterways, set the fees according to the length and the size of your boat. So we're a narrow boat, 70 feet, and we currently pay £960 per year for use of the canal. Now that does mean that you can use the water points, the rubbish bins, if you can find them, and other facilities. So that is really pretty cheap, £960
we think
for a whole year.
Yeah, and that's kind of the maximum you would be paying, because you don't really get boats that are over 70. If you're a wide beam, add at least another 20% on top of that. They pay a little bit more. So our next big cost, what would you say? It's got to be, if you are a constant cruiser, diesel.
Yes, the diesel. Diesel and coal. You run the engine. These are diesel engines, and you run your engine obviously to cruise, to move from A to B, but also you run your engine to top up your batteries. So the alternator is creating energy, and that tops up the batteries.
So we have electricity basically.
Yeah, that's right. It's a bit hard to survive without electricity.
And you may, like us, also run your engine to heat your water. Not every boat does. You could heat your water via gas or even via a back boiler, but most people are probably going to do it for diesel. So we would estimate we spend on average about 600 a year. We thought
roughly 600 a year on diesel. It goes down in the summer because I just swing round, you can see.
Yay!
There you go.
You still got summer and sun.
And we've got solar panels here, see?
Right.
And there's our coal on the roof as well.
Yay. Getting ready for winter.
Yeah, we are getting ready for winter. So let's just come back.
So in our case, diesel, some people might live on a lot less diesel, some people might even use more. But that's pretty much what we spend, about 600 a year. Our other big cost, coal.
Coal is a big one as well, because we think, well, possibly we spend in the winter months 2 bags a week we burn. So that's about £25 a week.
Yeah, or 26. A bag of reasonably decent coal is about 13 quid.
Yeah, and it varies in price from marina to marina and cellar to cellar and so forth.
And again, we have a 70-foot boat. Maybe if you're on a teeny tiny boat, you don't need so much coal. I don't know, but so that's certainly what we spend.
Yeah. So other costs.
Gas. Oh no, hang on, before we go on to that. Affiliated to coal, of course, is logs.
Yeah.
And firelighters and kindling and all that sort of thing that goes along with building a fire. How much would you say on logs a year?
I think about £300 on logs.
Okay.
And about 100, 200 on kindling. We also subscribe to River Canal Rescuers, like the AA for the waterways, and I would really recommend that. At different levels of membership, I think we've got the middle membership, and that's
well worth it.
That's £150.
But if you are a Londoner, you've got to pay another 30 quid every single time you call them out, because for some reason they charge extra. Maybe they just don't like Londoners, I don't know.
No, it's because they're in the M25, and I
yeah.
think parking and travel and time and everything else. So
more
that's
costs
okay.
for living in London. On that one. Yes,
So-
RCA, I mean, definitely a good one. We used those guys a couple of times in the last couple of years, so it's worked out
One
for us.
really big one that you've got to allow for, and this is that we've put down 1,500 per year for general maintenance and repair. So, generally speaking, every 2 or 3 years you should get your boat out of the water to black it. And that can be very expensive depending on which method you use, but it's still quite expensive.
I mean, we did it ourselves, but even doing it yourselves, I would still allow, let's say, $750 a year. You're not doing it every year, but let's say every 2 years it's going to cost you about $1,500. So the other $750 of that general maintenance cost that we've put in to make it $1,500 all in all is really all our general maintenance. It's remember, BOAT stands for what?
Break out another 1,000.
BOAT. It is indeed true.
Yeah.
There is always something that needs repairing. Oh, I just invented a word.
Yes,
repairing and replacing, whatever it is. Things fall off, get broken.
And you will want to do improvements.
Yes.
Listen, unless you're buying a brand new boat, it's already fitted out, you're probably spending 80,000 for that, or 100,000 or something. You're going to buy a second-hand boat. A, it's secondhand because there's things that are wearing out or not working at all. And B, you will want to make improvements. So you've got to allow for this as well. So 1,500 is really probably very conservative.
And to give you an idea, I mean, we bought our boat for about 27,000, but we have spent over and above probably another 20 on top of that on various things. So it does add up. I mean, you don't have to. You could perhaps not have every little bitsy bobsy thing that we bought for our boat. Not that we're massively well kitted out, but we are not too bad. But you can see, don't spend all your money on purchasing your boat and leave nothing for repairs and buying of new things. That's another costs perhaps.
So
but if you want a list of those costs, where could they go? Where can these guys go?
Well, if you go to my website, alandenman.com, I've put together a free PDF that you can download, and that really is a summary of this talk, and it has the cost that outlined for you. And it's all free. And also on that, if you are seriously thinking of getting a narrowboat, then have a look at another PDF which is called Great Questions to Ask Yourself Before Buying a Narrowboat, okay?
And if you can't be bothered going to the website, subscribe to this YouTube vlog, and in the comments box of Alan's YouTube channel, you will see a list that Alan put down of all the costs that we've just gone through with you now. So if you can't remember everything and you can't be bothered to replay this video, go and look there, or once again on Alan's website. Anywho, last of the summer. This may be the last time we are videoing, vlogging from the outside of the boat, because it's getting slightly nippier. Sunny,
Yes.
but a coolness.
Enjoy
to the
it
air.
while you can.
So we're grabbing the last of the sun while we can.
Okay, and that's it, I think,
hope
for
it's
today.
lovely where you are. Yes,
Anything
absolutely.
else you want to
no,
say?
No, say two.
Okay.
Say two, that's it.
Be happy,
Yay.
and we'll see you very soon,
Carry
I
on
hope.
cruising.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.